We'll continue with the study of patient. We have seen earlier that each symptom is to be completed regarding its 4 elements. We also saw that peculiarities regarding the normal physiological functioning of the patient, like appetite or thirst, are to be noted down. Another important aspect of study in patient, especially in homeopathy, is to know his mind, or what we call as the psyche, or his temperamental disposition. Actually, this is an essential ingredient of our being as a human being, but by and large it is neglected by modern medicine in day-to-day practice. On the other hand, homeopathic literature is full of it to such an extent that few practitioners solely rely on this, which is actually a difficult proposition, because this is a little slippery ground. We'll see how it is. So coming to the study of mind, let's try to develop a proper view how to go about. Concept of mind. What is mind? It is an abstract concept. What we know that there is a brain. The brain, certain through neurophysiology, we know that certain you may say processes takes place in the brain, what we call as thinking, and which give rise to what we call as thoughts. So a collection of thoughts, a bundle of thoughts in our mind or in our brain, that constitute the mind. Immediately the question comes that at every moment we have so many thoughts, we go on thinking. So with so many thoughts together, how to know the mind of the patient? For that, we have to, you may say, divide the thoughts into groups. 2 important, you may say, groups we can do. One is what we call as our feelings or the emotional thinking. For example, our love, affection, similarly our fear, our anxiety, or we also get angry, we are irritable. Now all these, what we call as the thought processes, we put under what we call as the feeling or the emotional component of our mind. There is another group, we think logically, we give reasoning, or say for example in science, we give cause-effect relationship. So all this reasoning process, logical process, scientific thinking, this is a different way of thinking, what we call as the intellectual thought, intellectual form of thinking. Besides that, say we also feel hungry, we say I am hungry, we say someone will say I am feeling giddy. Now these are also thoughts, but they are related to our body, whether it is the normal functioning or abnormal functioning, and they are it's a different group of thoughts altogether. Another group, very important but different than what we have seen earlier, aesthetic thoughts. We see sometimes a beautiful flower and we say, oh, how beautiful it is. No, that thought is not emotional, it's not intellectual, it's a very different kind. So aesthetic thought, the beauty we see around, and we describe the thought process related to that is we call the aesthetic thought. Sometimes we say that Mr. So-and-so is a very strong-willed person. What do you mean by strong-willed person? It's a description of his mind. Will, just as we have physical energy, which we can, you may say, measure or at least try to assess by, suppose if a person is lifting a heavy weight, or whether he is able to lift only a small amount of weight. Now we can assess his physical energy. Similarly, this will, what we call as the willpower, that's the word power. Willpower represents is mental ability to face the odds and do whatever he wants to do. Now that represents his will. It's a sort of energy description of, you may say, how far energetic his mind is. So this is a different kind of thought. There is another variety of thoughts which we generally say that, humanitarian thoughts, or what we call the spiritual thoughts. These thoughts, the earlier thoughts which we have seen, they are mostly related to myself, my family, and something here and there. Now, when we say spiritual thoughts, a person thinks of the world around without thinking of self or anything, and this we call it the spiritual or humanitarian thoughts, or the another word which we use for it is conscience, which has a little different meaning, but they have more or less similar form of thinking. So these are the different thoughts which are coming into our mind and putting together constitute what we call the mind of a person. Now we'll proceed with the study of mind in our next session. Thank you.